Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Wednesday, October the 9th. The year's 2024. Let's talk trading. Gun to your head trading, part 2. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And whether or not you have a gun to your head while you're trading, always have your risk management in place. Never lose more than you're willing to lose on any one single trade. Now yesterday, since I only make 15-minute long videos, we didn't see how that trade ended, but I took a screenshot. As you remember, I think we went short at the open of this candle right here, and then it went down. We could have taken a couple of pips, and then price decided to go the other way, and then it came back down and could have made the 5 pips. That was the premise. Gun to your head trading, make 5 pips. And this is a pretty simple chart, and there's some things that can be learned about it. If you look at it, you can see here we took that short. It had already come out of this area right here where you can see it's dropped before. And then it pretty much hit the midpoint, and then when it started to bounce, that would have been a nice place to exit. Just even though you wouldn't have had the 5 pips, it's just something that, hey, if it hits that point and starts to reverse, might be a good idea to pop out. And then you could see here it went up through. Now this is the line where price needs to return to. So you see this is a return bar. Price came down and it returned back to that level. And this is from the BRB indicator. Big range bar is what it stands for, but I also said it can stand for be right back because price usually returns to it. And it did. And so you can see here how many times in this big range bar price came down, and then it came back up, hit it again. Then you see here, this is now the latest big range bar. And you see price moved up and then came back down. Now, one of the things you can do to figure out how far it might go is you can take the range here of this big bar, and then you kind of like add it to the end. Then you can see how far up. That's one of the tricks that the Fibonacci traders do. They might say 50% or 60% or 75% or whatever, but you can see and how often that plays out as a target. So going back to today and just looking at this whole idea of the gun to the head trading, and you can see here now we've got a big range bar here, a big range bar here. Now there's 2 ways to calculate these, or 2 measurements you can take. You can use the body range, and that's just open to close, or you can use the full range, which is high to low. And sometimes it changes and sometimes it doesn't. But you can see here, this was a pretty big bar. Now, the other way of looking at big bars is you look at frequency distribution. How far is that range outside of the frequency distribution? And we're looking at M1 here. Okay, where is it? I think it's this one. So if we switch this over to M1, you can look at these bars and you can see a lot of 1s, a lot of 2s, and only a couple of 3s. And the way I program this indicator, you get the biggest bear bar and the biggest bull bar. That's why I have different colors. So on this particular bar, price quote unquote needs to come back to the open, and on this particular bar, price quote unquote needs to come back to the open. And you can see here you got a pretty big bar, and what happened? Price came back to the open. Okay, so what's that got to do with gun to the head trading? It's just one way of determining which way price may go. See, because we don't know. We can only have a guesstimate. And so right here, looks like price is putting in kind of a big range. And I'm not sure, I haven't looked to see if there's news today, but if there is, there'll be news at the bottom of the hour, which is about 15 minutes away. I think we're going to get a new M15 shortly here. And so I've got this on the one. I mean, we could even switch over to the M15 and say, okay, let's see, what do we have here? We had a big range bar, and that one came back. That looks like a pretty big range bar too, but not the biggest. And so that came back. Price came back there. So it looks like price might need to get down to this 30.57 level. And just looking at the chart, it's making lower highs. From here, it's making higher lows, but now it's making lower lows. So it looks like it might want to return. Now, also, note one other thing. You have this big range bar. There's the open. Price returned and shot through it. But notice how here, it shot through it. It came back to that open, but it kept closing above it. And what's that tell you? Closing above means it wants to go up. Just something to look at. So we've got about 8 minutes left. What would I do if I had a gun to my head? Well, once again, do you get the wait? How long do you get the wait? Or are they saying, no, you got to make me 5 pips in the next 5 minutes or something? You know, something crazy like that. Well, looking at the candle colors, I think I'd go short, because everything is pretty much saying go short. Now, we're only, one thing I didn't put on this indicator is the distance. I put the range, but I didn't put the distance prices away. But right now we're about 3 pips away from here. And so you can see pretty much lower, 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 lower. All red. It's telling you price wants to go down. Take a quick look at H4. Inside bar. Oh, could have a nice break there. On the H4. It's already broken out of the M30 low. Right there. Outside bar, we're getting ready to possibly break that low. So, a lot of reasons to go short to make those pips. And there it goes. You know, I was doing some reading on, actually it was on the topic of Zen. I was reading some Zen stories this morning, and it's kind of interesting because the whole idea, if you go to a Zen master, they'll tell you got nothing to teach. And this one story says this student went to a martial arts teacher, and he said, "Teacher, I really want to learn your method. How long will it take me?" And the teacher says, 10 years. And he goes, "Well, teacher, I really want to learn your method. I want to be the best student ever. I will, study 10, 12 hours a day, whatever it takes, but I really want to learn this as fast as I can. How long will it take me?" And the teacher looked at him and smiled and said, 20 years. And the whole point being is that some things can't be rushed. And it's all about paying attention in the moment. It's about becoming a master where there's something unconscious competence. It's like sometimes when Walmart and I are trading, we can be having a conversation about nothing to do with trading, and he's sitting there just, picking off pips right and left. It's because he's looking at the chart, and he's basically driving the chart, which is something I talked about, I don't know how many videos ago. I mean, a long time, years ago. I used to talk about driving the chart. When you get in your car, yeah, you've got gauges or indicators on the dash and everything, but you just drive. I mean, you might glance every now and then to make sure it's not overheating, but, what's happening in front of you and beside you and behind you, you focus on that and you react accordingly. If somebody pulls out in front of you or they're about to make a lane change, you slow down or you move over so they don't hit you or you don't hit them. You're looking for dangers in the road. And that's pretty much what you do when you look at the chart. Once you can just look at the chart, pretty much with no indicators on it, and you just say, okay, this is what I need to do. And then you do it. So I think I called that short, what was it, somewhere around this level, 78. And somewhere around here, I said we should go short. Everything's looking short. I think we were, here on the M15. Yeah, I said short, short, short. So, yeah, I guess maybe you could have picked up those 5 pips. Because, see, it came back to this line. And notice it went below it and pushed back above it. So, that's a point of thinking about getting out. Because looking left, that's what happened before. Of course, these videos are for educational purposes only, and your results may differ from mine. And as you can see, it's pulling away. So once again, taking the pips when the market gives them to you. But there's nothing wrong with using indicators. In fact, there was a trader that reached out to me. They liked the TDI. And he was saying, hey, can you do this? Can you make your dashboard do that? And I helped him do a couple of things, but it's like, no, I'm not putting TDI in the dashboard. But for you to have the TRO 2017 dashboard indicator, right here, if you want, you can come down here to indicator name and no, it's not indicator name. Where is it? Right here. External indicator. What you do is you put the indicator name in here, then you can give it a heading. And what the dashboard will do, it'll call that indicator. Now the thing about it is, you have to go and load up the parameters that indicator uses. If they're not default, if you want to change them, this is how you do it. And then you also have to tell it which buffer to use. And so I think the TDI might have like 3 or 4 buffers. So you have to pick which buffer you want to use. Anyway, I think that wraps it. 15 minutes of trading is just about over. So, fellow traders, if you have more questions, feel free to ask, and we'll do a couple more of these gun to the head videos. Because remember, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. Rumple one.